All right, as we start this meeting, we want to thank God for all the opportunities that we have to serve, the opportunities that we have to generate a successful community in life quality and infrastructure and just the possibilities for all those things necessary for a good life in Adams County. We thank you, Lord, for giving us the resources that we have and all the blessings that you've laid upon us. Help us to use those resources and blessings for your purpose and for the purposes of all the residents of Adams County. I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Hey. Should have had the minutes from the 16th.
I think I made one change that Doug had recommended. I made that change.
Okay, I see no problem. Dan, if you're okay with it, I'll make a motion. to
I
accept
printed
the
them
minutes.
off. What was the change? I guess I didn't see.
It was
Something minor.
just something to do with, when they were here talking about the line being installed and laid and stuff. It was just,
Okay,
finishing off a sentence correctly or something.
Yeah,
gotcha.
there's nothing major, just
Yeah, no, I made a
a
motion. to
type of
approve.
graphical thing, yeah. I move that we accept Stan.
I second.
Okay, motion by Doug, second by Stan. That motion passes. I forget now, since I wasn't here, do I sign these or not sign these?
Probably not.
You can still sign them.
Oh, up to you.
Your
Whatever.
There we
signature
go.
reflects that you trust those two.
I don't know about that.
So he didn't sign.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, he's dumber than I thought.
Is that really what that's? Okay, Tony, what have you got for us?
First, we have the payroll claims. Payroll claims are in the amount of $385,873.13, $385,873.13.
Move we accept payroll 385,873.13 payable this Friday.
Second.
Okay, motion passes 3-0.
Then we have the payroll time card approval that you should have received via email for the appointed department heads.
You guys get a chance to take a look at the
I
time
did.
card.
I did.
Yeah,
Okay, entertain a motion to that effect.
so moved.
Second.
Okay,
Okay, that motion passes 3-0.
let's go ahead and do the utilities paid in Lao next. I gave that to you prior to the start of the meeting, as well as somewhere down there, Steve, is the 24, 25
Okay,
amounts compared.
the comparables.
And that is in the amount of $33,625.89. $33,625.89.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion passes.
Thanks again, Tony, for doing that column.
Next, we have the animal control report submitted by Chad Springer that I put in front of you prior to the meeting. If you would want to make a motion to enter that into the record. And the press has a copy of that as well.
I don't particularly have any questions concerning the animal control report. Steve, Stan, do you have any questions on
No.
it? Okay, Steve.
Yep, I'm
I
good.
move, do we, for the record, we accept the report as submitted.
Okay, was that a second, Stan?
Yes, that's
Okay, thanks. Thank you. Motion passes.
Okay.
$14.
I
Yeah,
also
lot.
put in front of you prior to the meeting, the weights and measures monthly report submitted by Inspector Dan Hackman. And the press should each got a copy of that as well.
Stands out
Wow.
working.
Yeah, a
Dan's
bunch
out
of
working
them,
hard
didn't he?
for us.
Hundred and
Yep,
seventy-four,
He did.
rejected a couple.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
It is.
I appreciate, Dan's work on this and, I see no reason not to accept the report as submitted, so I move that we do.
Second. Yeah, he was
Motion
definitely
passes.
busy.
Yeah, busy. Deal.
And next we have the Allied Weekly Health Insurance Claims. We had medical, 8,563.44. Prescription was 93,374.35. After stop loss and so forth, the total required funding is 82,663.61. 82,663.61.
Wow, that prescription is just a killer.
Any comments on those prescriptions? No.
High is all I know. Yeah.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion passes.
Okay. Go ahead and do this too, since the attorneys aren't on.
Okay.
We have resolution number 2025-3. You all actually had approved a $2,000 payment to Mark Wynn for his going above and beyond with the transportation garage, basically acting as a general contractor. You all had approved the $2,000. We've been waiting on the attorneys to tell us how we do that and not get into trouble.
Right.
The way that we do that is resolution number 2025-3. It supports approving a bonus for Mark Wynn, Planning and Zoning Director and Building Inspector for going above and beyond. And this is all that needs to happen would be your approval. That would be entered in the next pay cycle. It's coming out of the commissioner's overtime budget.
I move that we move
Good.
forward with that process, Tony, and settle it for Mark Wynn as necessary. Make that into a motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion passes.
Okay.
Again, thank Mark for that was way outside of his scope of work, and just because of his past experience and expertise, it made sense that we asked him to help with that. And
Are on the second page.
just makes sense that we do that.
Have that written down here.
Well, he saved us a lot of money.
He did. It was and I know he worked way beyond his hours expected just to try and get that all done
Right
for
in
us.
town too, easy to get to, so not much driving.
I appreciate Mark being patient during the process of getting it
Right,
approved
figure it
also.
out.
Okay, the final thing I think that I have to bring up, Nate and I have discussed this. I briefly discussed it, I think, with some of you. We had received a pay-in from the state. Nate, correct me if I'm wrong with anything I said. It was a refund of local match money that over 30,000 of that we knew goes into Cume Bridge.
So
it's
it
about
came
a-
from Cume Bridge and needs to go back to Cume Bridge.
Yes, it was a local match.
Okay.
The other 11,000 some odd dollars was South Adams Trails, which is being dissolved. So I wanted to put into the minutes direction from the commissioners. What Nate and I are thinking is we put it all in Cume Bridge, since basically he's gonna have to inspect that bridge on the trails anyway. And if we're told later that that was incorrect, we will be able to do a correction and take this 11,666.47 and put it to where it was supposed to be.
Okay.
So does that sound like we had discussed?
The previous county engineer worked on the Dell project, delegated it. It was a pass-through as the county was the contract applicant on that project and then working on that bridge. So it just made good sense to go ahead and just put it in there because you have to have some destination for those funds this month.
Yep.
Since that's the month that's coming in, so without really a clear direction in the agreement with South Adams Trails, there's really no mechanism to try to refund the funds there. And the trail itself is looking to come back to the county's ownership, and those been some undetermined responsibilities. It just seemed like a reasonable expectation to put that in, so.
Ultimately, that trail and the bridge, associated bridge becomes our responsibility long term.
And because the bridge is not on a road system for traffic, it's, my knowledge, it's not eligible for federal funds, so inspections are going to be 100% whoever's the responsible party.
Right.
So it's gonna be a costly piece that blocks that.
But we're only talking about today that the 11,666.47.
Yep.
Where it goes.
And that, where that would go. And
We're saying Cume Bridge.
just go ahead and put it in the Cume Bridge because it's Cume Bridge adjacent at this point and without any other direction. Tony and I really weren't clear on where else it could go, but obviously that amount is the amount in question.
I have no problem with it, Stan. I don't know how you feel.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I don't know that we need official action.
Okay.
I just wanted it
Want it in the
noted in the
records.
minutes, in the record that it was
That's where it's going.
discussed.
In other words, that's where it's going.
I'd make that as a motion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go ahead.
I'll second Stan's
Just to be
motion.
safe.
That motion.
We're talking about the 11,666.47.
Right, it's good, gonna be placed, gonna.
Yeah.
Cume
put it in
Bridge.
Cume Bridge.
Okay.
And then the only other thing on the agenda, Steve, if you want to address that is,
Sure.
before we
Well,
forget, is next week's meeting.
Our meeting next week, two of the three commissioners are gonna be out of state and not available, so, I think our rules are that we can't hold a meeting with just one commissioner here, so.
Yeah, have no quorum at
We,
that point.
we have to have two commissioners present in person, and then the third can dial in. But we have to have two present in person. That will not take place next week, so we're gonna cancel next week's meeting. We need a,
I'd make that.
yeah, give me a, if you don't mind.
Second.
That motion passes to cancel next week's meeting.
Yeah, I think I had this. Okay. Did you have a motion second to vote on it?
You did. Stan motion, Doug second, vote 3-0.
You know, I can just hear the sighs of disappointment.
I know.
All the voters out there are
Yeah,
upset already.
You're just gonna have to find something else to fill your paper up.
Yeah, you know, we could volunteer Doug to come and sit here in case anybody wants.
Doug is what is it, okay, it could be the, you get two proxy votes, two proxies.
Okay, is that it, Tony?
I think that's,
Okay, moving on. Nate, what have you got for us, please?
You know, we could have Jim and Eric sit in as proxies.
that could be dangerous.
I'm a volunteer open hours for Doug. No, a couple of different items. Good morning. Just a couple updates for you. Bridge 180, Judy is backfilling that structure. That's actually what's shown there in the picture. That is the bridge there at 650 West and 825 South. Obviously, we're filling in the backfill, the stone around the structure, and they have started this week on some of the connecting pipes because we've got some cross pipes that are gonna be connecting fields to the areas around that. So we're replacing those both on 825 South to the east and west, and also a cross pipe on 650 West there on the south. Some of those you actually see there in the picture. So just a short update for you. We still got a couple weeks left to work on it, but the main structure is installed and is backfilled, so they should be getting out of the waterway here shortly.
What is the distance between, from one end to the other of this
Oh,
approximation?
I know all the other dimensions on this. We've got 11 sections at 6 foot, so it's about 66 feet long, I believe, from corner to corner. So it's a pretty long structure. when
You got low berms.
What's that?
I mean, there's not gonna be an issue if any farm equipment going across that thing.
No, correct. There's gonna be guardrail at the corners on 2 of the corners, but it expands this out quite a bit. So we kept quite a bit of radius on both sections on that, so.
With the size
inside
of farm
corner-
equipment, that's always a consideration.
Yep. I am adding a little bit of money. There's a drain at the southeast corner that was field fabricated, so it's not traffic rated. So, and because that's one that would be potentially subject to farm equipment, making that corner tighter on that side, we're looking at increasing that, putting a larger frame and grate that is traffic rated. So I'm working with the contractor to beef that one up a little bit for the possible loads.
Is that the one that's shown in the picture?
Nope, this is, it is just off the picture to the right, because in this photo, I'm looking north in this photo.
Oh,
What, is that a private tile coming in there on picture, at the bottom of the picture?
Correct. So those are just some of the private tiles. We're replacing quite a few of the private tiles that are crossing or crisscrossing the area. Where we can, we find a good section, cut it off, and then replace that with a new section. All of the new pipes are gonna be a dual wall, smooth line, HDPE pipe.
So
So is that on those structures, is that a cement bottom across there then?
There is no bottom on this. This one's sitting on the rock. So we exposed the rock elevation there, chip that out, set a footer directly on the rock. So this structure is going from the concrete arch directly into a large 3 foot wide by 2 foot deep concrete footer that leveled the pad out onto the field rock that this was subject to.
Yeah, that's just for you guys'
Interesting.
information. That's out near, not near, but it's close by,
Yeah,
the
you're
quarry.
Yep.
And there's a lot of,
There's a lot
you
of
go down
heavy
6,
traffic.
8 feet, you're on a rock.
You're about 2 miles south of the IMI quarry there.
Okay.
in Lynn Grove.
Matter of
So-
fact, the way they clean that ditch, they put an excavator or a dozer right on the bottom of the
Bottom,
ditch.
Yeah, as this is set up, you could probably take a skid steer and drive it underneath the structure and take the sediment.
Clean it out.
down.
That's
So,
good.
Yeah, this looks like there's water there, but everywhere else it's been so dry, the ditch is dried out, so, nope. All right. Yeah, moving on here, updates for you on Bridge 155. That was one thing that I had mentioned in my absence last week. That project is started this week, so the road is now closed. Brumball Construction started the project on Monday, cutting the concrete approach slabs. Today, they're actually milling the concrete and asphalt, and we'll start their hydro demo today. So the anticipated schedule under contract is they have 45 days. I don't know that they will use all of that, but that is what their contracted availability for it. Project includes the removal of those large concrete approach slabs, and they'll be pouring a new concrete bridge deck, a rigid deck overlay. So that'll.
Now, is that right on the county line?
Nope, this one's just west of the county line. So that is between 275 and 400 east on 1100 south. So old 160.
Yeah, old one.
So it's an old
16,
state, it's an old
I
state
see.
bridge.
Okay,
We're gonna shorten up the approach slabs a little bit, so you're gonna have a new section of asphalt prior to that. There just was areas under old state standards that were exorbitant to what.
Was
we
that the
wanted
one
to
where
do.
the approach was moving?
Nope,
No.
that's a different one. So Judy has agreed to do that approach. That one was Bridge 66. They're on 300 North. This is one of our community crossings projects that we were awarded funds for.
This is the bridge. I think I had some concern that some
Yep.
farmers reached out to me and wanted to make sure that there's a corner there that apparently they were afraid maybe some barricades were gonna prohibit them from
Yep.
getting around the corner with semis or something.
I'd sent notices to the contractor with the farm operations that were there, and Ben with Brumball has been very quick to respond on any of those items.
Okay.
If we have concerns with farmers, they absolutely can reach out to me or to the foreman on site.
Okay.
We can make adjustments on some of that
Okay.
spacing. We
Very
just want to make sure that the public knows not to get into that area and turning around at private drives.
Right,
But anybody that's there can get access either from the east or west. That's our intent, and that's how it's set up.
obviously the harvest right here on us. That's
I know.
that's tough.
For us to get our best values, unfortunately, they gotta finish the state jobs during the middle of summer.
I
and I've got a lot
understand.
of
That's,
jobs starting
that's what
now.
I've tried to explain.
Yep. No,
So the
I don't-
structure,
They're,
Rumble from.
they're out of Ohio. I don't have the city that they're headquartered out of, but it's an Ohio contractor.
the structure itself is good. It's just,
Yep. This is just we're replacing the 2 approach slabs that had cracked due to ground fault damage and some of the buggy traffic on it, but then we'll put in a new wearing surface on top. So it'll add a number of years of life to that structure.
What else have you got for us?
Just a notice to you, COOP plan, continuity of operations plan. I have a meeting with the county EMA to set up just a review of my department and any operations. When we had the internet outage, there was just some loss of my operation. What does that mean? And it kind of brought up the question of, well, do I have a COOP plan for my department? So I'm gonna meet with them on Thursday, and we're just gonna
Good deal.
do a little action plan to make sure that that's covered. And one of the last items, actually 2 items, one I don't put on here, just Bridge 93 and the guardrail HSIP, both engineering resources and their construction point have been notified, been working on their draft agreements. And then lastly, I do have the last bridge inspection report from Aegis BLN here. This is our phase 2A inspection report. It's a physical copy. He dropped that off on the end of last week. So that essentially completes their agreement for their inspections for 2025. if anything comes up as an emergency, they're still under contract until the new agreement with USI goes into effect next year. But there shouldn't be anything, but that's, they have turned over all the deliverables that is due, and I'll put a copy of this up in the cupboards after the meeting.
Good deal.
So, but other than that, any questions for me?
I don't.
Thank you.
I think we're good, Nate. Thank you. Brad, what have you got for us?
Just a couple updates. We had enough rain to finally go out and grade Stone Road. So the guys are out grading today, and if they need more time, we're gonna let them grade tomorrow too, since it's been months.
Yeah.
And then still mowing. And then yesterday, Paul and one of the other guys took our oil distributor
Mhm.
chassis over to the
Right.
manufacturer
Good.
and hopefully have that by
Get the new-
January.
get the new,
Yes.
distributor mounted.
Yes.
Good deal.
Where's that, where do you do that? Over at Columbia City or?
No, this is over in Illinois.
Illinois?
It's at Nyers plant where they built them.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
they actually built them right there, so that's where they took it.
Good.
Other than that,
Good deal.
that's all I got.
Thank you. Questions for Brad, guys? I'm sorry.
None.
Didn't mean to dismiss him like that.
Good.
Okay. Rick, what have you got for us? Good morning. How you doing?
Good. I'll give you a couple updates here. On the north side of the building on the courthouse, the screens had some holes in it, so I removed them to get them fixed.
Okay.
That should be back in here shortly. Also over at the courthouse, it's women's restroom back. There's like two different parts to that. The employees use the back side of it. And usually the public uses the front side. We have.
That's in the basement.
Yeah. There's just was
That's the new ones.
excessive TP in there. I think I might have messaged to you
Yeah.
that I was.
Yeah,
doing
you were
something.
wrestling with it.
Yeah, so anyway, we got that done. If you remember, well, to start out by saying, we got a new gas meter here on the complex. 2 months ago, the church had two gas meters over there and they had one removed because they were getting charged for two and they dug up in the alley.
Mhm.
Well, actually Glenda said, hey, we haven't used any gas in the last 2 months. Really? But we probably didn't anyway.
Yeah.
So anyway, NIPSCO came out, they put a new meter on.
Okay.
What they found is, I don't know whether they did it or not, there was a cap that was busted off the side of the meter, so they put a brand new one on it. But while we were out there, I said, hey, check that regulator while you're doing this. Well, I can, but that's a different service company for NIPSCO. It's okay. It was leaking. I mean, they belch. That's what they're supposed to do, but we put a new O-ring in it. It didn't stop it completely, so they'll be back to put a new regulator on.
Okay.
So, and I don't know when, they're just supposed to
So
call.
why, so the gas wasn't going through the meter or wasn't registering in the meter?
I don't think it was registering in the meter, but I
Oh.
doubt if we used any, because we hadn't had the heat or anything on. And our hot water heaters.
You know, you could have just kept that our little secret.
You need to blame. Glenda.
Not in my office.
Blame
Well,
the
if I
others.
remember
What are you
right,
complaining about?
that went on for several years at the jail till we
Is
realized.
that right?
I didn't
We're
want it to
not
catch up
being
with us.
billed for the jail.
Yeah.
2 years from now, we get a bill for.
10,000.
Yeah.
Don't know if you heard, hopefully the traffic will kind of slow down around here, the grand opening. for the
Right.
Roundabout.
Yeah,
this
I'm
Thursday.
excited.
When's that?
Thursday.
2, I believe,
I
2
think.
PM if I heard right.
Yeah.
Um, October 13th is Columbus Day. We're shut down, the buildings are shut. I guess I want to ask you permission if I can come in here and change out the filters in the HVACs why nobody's here.
Mhm.
I'd like to do it then, have everything changed going into fall and winter.
Sure makes sense to me if you're willing to do that.
Yeah. So it just is easier on everybody else. Not in their way, et cetera, et cetera.
Sure.
I'm not prepared to give it to you because I've asked Clayton,
He is not here.
to look it over, the control panel for our HVAC system here and the courthouse.
Right.
I did receive a quote back, but I gave it to Clayton to read over.
Okay. This replaces the Hable Brothers
Yes.
control system that we've
Priority
struggled
system,
with
yes.
recently anyway.
And then we will add the Mitsubishi units to this too.
Okay.
So that'll be coming. I just
Good.
want to get his approval on the verbiage of it.
Sure.
Trying to think, did we approve that? Tentatively already approved the cost of it.
I don't know that we have. We're still waiting on an estimate on that, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, I have it, but it's like,
Clayton needs to turn it into it.
Right. I'm sure it's not
there's
cheap.
a lot of other different things going on, but that's all I got.
I don't have anything for Rick, thanks.
You know, we recently had the use of the courthouse lawn last Sunday night.
Yes.
Any feedback for us from that event that you would, one of the things I think we need to look at is how we look at those things going forward and how we consider them. But any thoughts from your perspective on if you do this again, don't do this, or be sure you do that, or anything?
I just, I think after you approved it, then this is New Spawn,
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
she had called me about, power. They
Right.
needed power,
right,
which I told them where it was, but
okay.
I unfortunately didn't attend that. Stan, you did, didn't you?
Seemed to me like it was well attended.
Yeah,
you know,
I-
Stan?
I think it went well.
I thought it went great. I mean, they had the sound system set up next to the steps and that worked great. And,
Cleanup of anything, any?
I did not see anything. I
Okay.
think they pretty well did it.
Okay.
And I think that's something that we
Yeah.
need to make sure that the users have as part of their responsibility is to clean up after the
But I
event,
did
so.
not see, I think they did a good job.
Good deal.
well, and I don't know how she worked it out as far as the street department, because I think they closed Second Street.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
sure if, of course, Dan probably would have anything to do. I don't know who they contacted with
Right.
that, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But as far as.
Yeah, we're just
gentlemen
concerned about
cleanup,
courthouse lawn.
trash, it's all good.
Good, good to
We
know.
took care of the lighting ourselves. Everybody had a candle.
Yeah.
We don't have any public restrooms available outside the courthouse anymore, like back in the day, right?
No, it used to be when the California.
Like I said, back-
We opened up the courthouse and we kind of babysitted it, but I believe since then, the city has restrooms right there by Madison Street.
Okay, good deal,
They opened them.
good deal, good deal.
Yeah.
All right. Just a little follow-up, so thanks. Any more questions for Rick, guys?
I don't,
Okay, thanks, Rick. We're running a little bit ahead of schedule. No, it's not here yet.
Next two are.
okay, sir.
Kayla, you want to come on up? We're running a little ahead of schedule, if you don't mind.
I don't mind.
Okay. Appreciate you pushing from last week to this week.
Hey, it actually worked better for my schedule too, so.
Good.
I'm gonna give you gentlemen this because I know you love more paper, right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you like one? as
Thank you.
well,
Yeah,
sir?
just for my minutes.
Yeah.
I do. Well, thanks for having me today. I just want to run through a few things that we are working on and have finished up at the district. We did close out our Clean Water Indiana grant. We were able to suspend but I think it's in here, $7.92 out of $35,100. So that was a big push because I had 6 months to spend, roughly, $25,000. So $21,000. So we did that. The pollinator plots in Geneva look great. Pollinator Palooza went over really well. We distributed a ton of native plants. I think people are really excited about native plantings. We are pushing on really hard with our on-farm demo project. That is an NRCS funded project, Natural Resources Conservation Service. That is an agreement that I wrote when I was in Allen County. The Adams County portion is focused on conservation farms that include Gene Whitty, Mike Whirling. We're doing some test plots at the FFA fields. And then we're trying to deliver all of the data that we're compiling through soil testing and water quality monitoring to make an argument for conservation programs. So that's going really well. We'll have a meeting in December to kind of wrap up all the data from this year. We're actually partnering with First Bank of Bern because they're having an event on the same day. So why not combine forces and get everybody in there? So we've been doing a lot of education and outreach. I'm not sure if you saw, but we did take a community trip to Put-in Bay. That was great. We had a great group of people. We went out on the lake, and we followed that up with an FFA ag student trip. So we were able to take 41 students up for the day, and they went out to Gibraltar Island, did the Stone Laboratory tour, dissected fish. It was really a great day. They wrote us thank you letters, and it was really neat to see how they took all that in and realized that their actions on land really affect, the drinking water for 3 million people. So that was a great experience. I'm hoping to be able to do that every other year as we can with funding. We did start an Adams County Conservation Partnership. That is for,
Going back to your lake trip, that's a lot of people.
yeah.
I mean,
so-
if you had 41 people, that's a big trip.
Yeah, well, we had 45 on the bus, so we had some staff. That was my student trip,
Yeah.
and then we had 34 for our community trip, so. So we got quite a few people up to the lake.
I've never went, but everybody I've talked to says it's really a neat trip.
It really is. I've been running the trip for numerous years, and so we go up, we take the ferry over. I usually get an open air tram. We do a little island tour, and then we go out with Ohio State University on their research vessels. So the kids are able to do a fish trawl. We do some water quality monitoring. We talk about the state of the lake. Then they go over to Gibraltar Island and they do the fish dissection, a plankton lab. It's really a day full of science, and they have a little fun too. So that's the.
Well, and it's kind of interesting to make the tie-in from Adams County to Lake Erie.
It is.
To see that what we do here affects Lake Erie.
Yep. 2/3 of our county, I believe, drains to the Western Lake Erie Basin. So
Yeah,
it was a good experience, and I think the kids and the teachers really enjoyed it and would be willing to do that again with us. So hopefully we can secure some funding for that in the future. We did create an Adams County Conservation Partnership. That is with Urban Soil Health, which is part of the Indiana Association of Soil and Water Conservation Districts programming. We were able to offer some free soil testing and technical assistance through that. Just a little bit of money. It was $1,050 that they allotted to us for services. And we are now starting a new nutrient testing program. This is through a partnership with the Maumee Watershed Alliance, which is kind of it's my nonprofit that I sit on the board of. Mike Whirling is the president of that organization. So we're going to offer no cost soil, manure, and irrigation water testing. And then we'll back that up with technical assistance to our farmers. It is open to community residents who have a garden, but it's not open to like lawns and landscaping. We want to try to focus on creating nutrient management plans and looking at what we're putting on our soils. So I've been busy writing some grant proposals. I wrote a CWI proposal, and I'd like to thank you for your letter of support for that Clean Water Indiana grant. We're hoping to back up our initial pollinator grant with a secondary phase, focusing on monarch way stations. We'll have an answer on that in late October, so I should know more funding wise if that is going to be made available. Those funds would be awarded at the beginning of the year, so we could just start work as soon as the ground thaws. I'm also applying for National Association of Conservation Districts Technical Assistance Grant. We're applying for $34,500. There's a little bit of change on there. I'm still kind of working through my budget. So this funding mechanism can only be used for staffing. There's no money for implementing of programs or infrastructure or any kind of equipment. It's only for staffing. So my thought, and with approval from my board, was that we could use this to kind of offset what we pay our agronomist, Dan Kaminsky, to provide agronomy services and technical assistance. But also, I would really like to start getting some student interns, especially over the summer. I would like to get those kids who are going into ag business or the ag field and get them some experience in conservation. So hopefully we are awarded that. I don't believe Adams County has ever applied for this. So with us being a first year applicant, I think our chances are pretty good. And then I did work with the Upper Wabash River Basin Commission pretty extensively to write that 319 grant proposal for the rewrite of the watershed management plan. Those awards will be, we should know something hopefully by the end of the year. So that is a 319, which the difference in these two grants I'm going to talk about, a 319 grant proposal has a match component. So our district, Adams County Soil and Water, has pledged to handle the water quality monitoring. So we'll be collecting water quality monitoring at no cost to the grant. However, it looks like this is going to get popped over to what they call a 205J grant. That is only used for watershed management plans in the state, and there's no match. So we'll have to work out the logistics on if there's money involved in that transaction or not as it comes along.
What's the size of that grant?
I think it was $135,000. Right around
Wow,
there.
so that's pretty sizable.
Yeah,
And then our
yeah.
match portion would be,
Our match, so my time was what we used for the match, and it came out to about $28,000 in services that we would provide as a county. And that's kind of grant oversight, running the water route. Also, if I'm hosting an event, we'll give some information out about the watershed management plan, kind of piggybacking in there. So there's always a dollar valuation to all of the things that we do that promote the rewrite of that watershed management plan. So we incorporated Splash Day. So we'll do a watershed station at Splash Day, and that could be used as the in-kind. I can send you a breakdown of that if you'd like to see it as well.
and
So-
that's great that you can use in-kind match on that.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but that, we discussed this at the last Upper Wabash, didn't we?
Mhm.
The lady that came in,
Kyle Quant, yes.
Yeah. now, what's her job in this whole thing?
So Kyle Quant has Quant Consulting Services. She actually submitted the grant on behalf of the Upper Wabash. We worked really closely together to develop that budget and to get all of those preliminary factors into that preliminary grant application. So
And then, you mentioned the J205 or the 205J grant.
Yep. So IDEM will make, Indiana Department of Environmental Management will make the decision. If they have enough money in their 205J pot, they'll take this 319 grant and put it over into the 205J, which does not require any kind of match component. The dollars that they appropriate are the same. However, we don't have to come up and track that match. They assume that we're still going to provide those services, but it's not a tracking scenario.
Okay, after phase one is completed, and I really do appreciate your efforts here. After phase one is completed, the update of the watershed management plan, what's next?
Apply for funding for implementation in that part of the upper Wabash, which is, the southern portion of our county. So the way they have these grants, these watershed management plan grants set up and the rewrite, while this plan is being written, I can go ahead and apply for funding. to do implementation, whether that's like a cover crop cost share or some work on some tile work on some fields with damaged tiles. I can go ahead and apply for funding, even though the watershed management plan is not approved. However, having an outdated watershed management plan, I cannot apply for funding. So they won't give us any funding with the plan that's outdated, but if the plan is being rewritten. So next year, if this is awarded, I can go ahead and apply for 319 funds through the district to do some implementation and some boots on the ground work. But currently without the watershed management plan, at least being in the process of being rewritten, I cannot apply for those funds.
Is this anything that Rod would help with or not?
Well, no, not really. Not the
Not
grant
this
writing
portion,
process,
no.
but I'm always concerned about the implementation process.
Yeah,
You know, I hate to see, I understand that
it's,
these plans have to be written, but I'm always concerned about going beyond
yeah,
some plan that's written and approved in.
yeah, you can have a plan, but what good is it if you're not going to
Yeah,
do some
so I'm always
implementation?
concerned that
So,
the taxpayers see something done.
Yeah,
Or the availability to do
Yeah.
something. Now, in your response to your question, you know, we are talking with Rod about perhaps coming into the Upper Wabash and offering some ideas and contacts that he has to maybe implement a couple other things along the way. It has nothing really to do with what the 319 is, but.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
I always find though that's really fascinating, the connection between the work you do and the work that the River Basin Commissions do, the Maumee and the Upper Wabash. The work that Nate does back there, trying to clean up our septage and
Yep.
that runoff, and just, it's all this intricate system that we are all working to make better.
Right.
Everybody kind of in their own way, but it all works together. It has to
Yeah,
work
We
together.
do. We do. And I recently realized that, my area of expertise, I do not have the knowledge that I need in drainage and hydrology. So I have elected to take some classes on drainage and hydrology because I feel like I'm just lacking. I was in more of an urban setting in Allen County,
Yeah.
and a lot of the issues I'm seeing here are, I don't have the experience or the knowledge to back that. So, okay, we gotta, learn some new things here. So
Well,
hopefully, we can
if you
continue.
would ever want to go and attend the Maumee River Basin Commission.
Yeah.
Is really an active group that Rod leads.
Mhm.
Those meetings, I knew nothing when I started attending those meetings, absolutely nothing about watershed management, and every meeting I go to is just this education
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're certainly welcome to attend any of those meetings there that you would want to, but
yeah, I almost went to the last one. I had a meeting right before it, and then, I'm like, Randy is there, and I think my board.
Yep,
since they
Randy's
have an
there, and-
Appointment,
yeah.
they're kind of like, we'll take care of it, so.
yeah.
But yeah, I work really closely with Rod. I just had a breakfast meeting with him yesterday
Yeah.
over at West End. He's a
Yeah.
great guy and a huge,
What
I'm.
What a
I'm-
blessing to
Yeah,
us that we
I'm-
have him working in our
Yeah,
area.
I send questions to him on a weekly basis. What do you know
That's
about
why,
this?
that's why I'd like to get him involved with the Upper
I know,
Wabash.
I hear you.
So, yeah. But, so other than that, and speaking of Rod, we're having a series of meetings to talk about, nutrient management approaches. So there'll be more information coming on that. I think, Adams County is kind of we've set the bar here, as far as our livestock ordinances. And I think there's other counties that can learn a lot from us.
Just at our last meeting, there are counties that are really struggling with
Yeah.
that. Not that
So-
we've solved that problem, but I think we're much further down the road in
Definitely,
trying to figure it
definitely.
out
Yeah.
than many counties surrounding
Right,
us.
right. So we've been having a series of meetings, and we'll have another series that'll be open to the public, which of course, commissioners will be invited to as well. We've had like 4 or 5 meetings now to see how, we can kind of model more counties and make more available the resources that Adams County has and that has used, because we are kind of a model here, and
Right.
that's something to be proud of. So good job on managing that. So my
plan
last
commission
thing-
and yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting. It just all has to work together.
Yeah,
It's just
it does.
fascinating to me.
We all
You know,
have,
backing up a little bit, I don't know what his qualifications are, but you know who seemed real sharp on hydrology. And as far as it applies to drainage and our county ditches was Bill Wemloff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
He also.
Bill is a
he
wealth
had-
of knowledge.
He had a
just
good
wealth.
working knowledge of that.
yeah, well, you know, it's, of
Previous
course,
county.
Mike Whirling is very much our
Yeah.
surveyor is very much,
Yep, Mike's
on all
Mike's
this,
on
yeah.
it too. And
Yep.
and
Yep.
Bill's on our drainage board.
Yeah.
Along with, JD
yeah.
and Greg
and
Leahy.
Yep.
I've
So,
been out with Mike a few times, and like, Mike, I'm out in this field, there's a problem here, come help. So, he's great, he's a good personal friend of mine too, so I enjoy Mike and I appreciate him, so.
We're blessed to have a nice collaborative effort here,
Yeah.
trying to manage that for
Well,
our
he's,
county and our area.
he's always been ahead of the curve as far as conservation.
He is, yeah, so we,
cover crop.
used to work for us in Allen County as our conservation
Sure.
technician,
Yeah.
and so that
Yeah.
was great, and then I came down here and it's been
Yeah.
wonderful, I
Yeah.
love it, so.
Well, you can go to the MRBC meetings as long as you always come back.
Okay.
And she does
Deal.
attend up the Wabash meetings too. so-
Yeah,
good.
yeah, I took a Wabash as well, so. Just the last thing I kind of wanted to point out here, and now from going forward, we've had, some really good funding come in. So our Clean Water Indiana brought in 21,620. The partnership with the MWA, right now, we're at $16,190, and there's another $8,000 pledged from the Maumee Watershed Alliance prior to the end of the year. The Urban Soil Health Program brought in $1,050. So far, our on-farm demo we've spent $30,908.77, totaling $69,769.60. And when I'm spending this money, when I'm spending these grant dollars, I'm trying to primarily make sure the money stays within our county as much as possible. So that's hiring services from within the coununty, buying supplies at the lumber yard or
Do we still
27.
have no-till equipment that we
We
either
do.
loan out, rent, or
we run
whatever?
out. Yep, so and we're looking at possibly purchasing another piece of equipment using grant funding as well, so.
And then that goes out to the English as well as the.
Mhm, Yep. And then on the back couple of pages here, I printed out some stuff I found pretty interesting about the impact of grant dollars on local economies. So for every dollar that we're bringing in grant funding, that can generate anywhere from like $2.50 to $10 in additional resources within our community. So I'm gonna try to be mindful of making sure we keep those resources here in our community so we can economically support our growth and our development. And I'm still excited to be here, so I'm having a great time.
Good, good to
Good.
have you.
Yeah,
Glad to
I
hear
love
that.
it.
Glad to hear that. We're glad to have you.
Yep.
Again, all the work that the SWCD does and that you do, sometimes we don't always understand it. I don't always understand it, but that linkage between all of these departments and that we have and just fascinating to me how it all has to work together.
Good,
Absolutely.
Okay,
thank you.
All right, thanks.
thanks, Cal. Okay, we're gonna go back to Mary. Come on up. Reassessment time, reassessment contract time.
Yeah, we only had one.
Fancy boot you got on there, Mary, what happened?
You.
We'll find out what's all gonna happen to me.
Thank you.
I just had an MRI yesterday. I'm not 100% sure what happened. I've been dealing with it for about 6 months or more, and that's kind of one of them. I was always yelling at my husband that he needs
Get
to go
to
to
the
the
bottom
doctor.
of it,
Rob
huh?
was one of them that didn't go, and it just kept getting worse. So
Time to look into it.
I know Mark normally opens the, well, used to, so what would you,
You can, Tony, you wanna open
I
them?
can open them, or Steve can open them.
there, you guys
Here's the
fight
camera.
over it.
Yeah, letter opener.
It's
I know.
riveting reading, I
see,
can
I
tell you that.
Yeah, it's easy. Got it.
Okay. If you need for anything
Anyway,
in there.
it was advertised on September the 5th. Opening was today. They had to submit in my office by September 12th by 4:00. Appraisal research, or excuse me, they're called Vision. Now, they were the only ones that submitted one. we've been with them for, I'm not really sure how many years because
About
we've
20
had.
years.
How many?
About 20 years.
Okay,
Wow.
because we had them before, but they were called Appraisal Research before. Anyway, I really like working with them, so I think it's a good thing on our end. I will, so they're no longer gonna do photos for us. But as you guys know, well, I don't know if you do know, but I know Doug would know because Doug's been here for quite a while. Pictometry is what we've used, and we have the obliques. And the bid is going to be coming up in the next couple of years for that. So next year is the last flyover for that, okay? And in the past, we had, the contract was, and this was, I believe, when I was auditor, excuse me, was with leaves on. Well, we're gonna need to do leaves off because one, we're not gonna have photos anymore. So we're really gonna need to see, because our only recourse is going to be, we need to see what's actually there. Now, if it would be something that we needed to verify, then my office, one of us, me or whomever will go out and we'll actually go out and look at it ourselves, which is kind of what we do now. Like if somebody comes in and says, if they destroyed a structure or something like that, we go out and verify whether it's gone or not. So they will be doing the flyover. I know this had nothing to do with the bid, but I'm just kind of giving you a heads up. Next March, he said the data will be in April. They are going to give me a heads up on the contract amount before budget time next year, so I will be able to budget for that. I have already reached out as far as that's concerned, and there are not really a whole lot of people or businesses that do the obliques. So pictometry is kind of what most of the counties in Indiana do. Anyway, so that kind of is, so no photos, you're not gonna see any photos, any charges for photos in there, which has always been something that's done in the past. So that kind of is that. The trending, the bid on the trending has stayed the same, which is for the sales and marketing data where we compare to the market, and the cost tables were updated by the state. And we compare them with the market, but they're state mandated, and they increased last year, so that's all state driven. There have been an increase in the appeals slightly. I have Dudley, who works with Vision. He comes in and researches the appeals, and we do the appeals. We try to do them informal. In other words, excuse me, they come into the office and Dudley and I sit there with the taxpayers and we try to get them resolved informally. And then if they are not happy with what we come up with, then they can go to the PETA-BOA board, who meets once a year. And then if they're not happy with that outcome, then they have to go to the state. So since I've been assessor, we've never had anybody go to the state. We've only had a couple that have come to the PETA-BOA board. I don't know if we've ever in Adams had anybody go to the state. I'm not sure.
If we have, it's been years.
Yeah, okay.
We usually get
It's
them
been
resolved,
years.
yes.
Yeah. So I don't really have anything else to say. If I forgot something, Cindy, you're welcome to.
There's not really much more to say, except that, as we said, the trending, which is basically, it's called annual adjustment, where we adjust the values based on the market and our cost tables. That price has stayed the same. Your services on a daily rate, the county themselves, they do their residential agriculture review in-house. So the girls, Mary, are doing that themselves. If they need assistance, what you'll see is there's a charge of daily rate that's per diem, and we prorate it for an 8-hour day. If they need assistance, we will go out and help them or take a look at it and give them some advice. We do that occasionally, not that often. As we talked about, the photography is going away, so that's a big savings for your county right there. And quite frankly, with obliques, we're finding out that the street level photography, which is what we always did before, is not as necessary. The obliques are so good, especially with the leaves. You really have to have the leaf off when you fly over, so you can capture everything that's there. It's not necessary to have both of those, so we've eliminated that for you as well. There is a new construction rate. We do pick up your commercial, industrial, and exempt properties for you. And there's a rate there for that. And we do your data entry on commercials. Commercials are a little bit more of a tricky thing to deal with, so that's why they're having us use our expertise. And there are things for overages if applied, but other than that, pretty much the same.
Okay, appraisal research, I can't remember his name that we always worked with, Mary, just lives out north of Decatur on
Dudley.
27.
Dudley Shyman?
No,
Jeff
Jeff
Keys,
Keys.
Keys, yeah.
this is his
Same
son sitting in the
son's
back.
back.
He works for us now.
Okay,
Jeff
so
retired.
you're the Jeff Keys today.
Tim.
Okay.
He is.
Tim.
Okay, now,
You can agree with me.
Let, just for my review and the public's review, okay, someone wants to build a building.
Mhm.
Okay, so they come into Mark Wynn's office and get a permit to build that building. Okay, take me from there to when that person gets a statement in the mail.
Well, they come in and then, excuse me, they get the building permit. They let us know, like Julie reaches out, so they let us know, like the city of Bern, the county and so forth and so on, the entities.
Individual property owner,
Well, no, the actual entities, and then we know who's gotten the
Okay.
building permit. We put notes on that. And then Tim's given a report that says, this is the new construction. He goes out and
you visit personally the property,
he measures
Yes, he
and,
does.
yeah.
measures the building,
And if we
measures
have-
the
If
project.
we have blueprints, that's even better.
Verifies the data. Okay, go ahead.
And then he comes, he does a drawing, he does a sketch, okay, and then he gives it to two of the ladies in the office.
Right,
Basically one, and then she draws it into our program that we use. And that's kind of how that works, and then
okay.
it's there.
And so now Cindy,
Yes.
okay, tell us how you fit into the whole scheme of things with Mary's office.
Right, so we are doing the new construction, so we're actually reviewing, like I had mentioned, the commercials, we're doing those separate. They're doing the residential agriculture. So Tim and Dudley are going out and also looking at commercial properties as well.
Okay,
So that's what they're doing. When we get them back in, we give them to, we data enter the commercial data entry form. That's a little bit of a trickier thing to do. But the girls are doing the data entry for the, and as soon as they put the data in the system, okay, which there's software, it has cost tables, which are state mandated that we have to use. It calculates a value, okay?
okay,
Fast forward that to, we get sales that come in every day in the county. We take a look at those sales values and compare what they're selling for versus what the cost tables are. We look at market factors and that's how we come up with a value
okay,
that will ultimately impact the tax bill.
okay. So if there's a resident or someone that decides, hey, I don't need the hog building anymore, I don't need the et cetera, it's the property owner's responsibility to notify Mary's office.
It is.
Yeah, we
yes.
have a destroyed form, yeah. But as long as the structure's up, even if you're not using it and it is like in really bad stress, I mean, you're gonna be taxed for it.
Right,
Excuse me, you're gonna be assessed for it, which is meaning you're gonna be taxed for it.
okay,
Yeah, because there's a lot of people that'll come in, but it's like, as long as that structure.
Until it's gone, it's
Yeah.
still on the
Gone,
tax roll.
Right.
You're gonna pay something for it.
Right.
okay, but there's one other factor that fits in somewhere. If there's a building that houses, let me just use poultry, for example.
Right.
If there's a building that houses poultry and they're producing eggs or broilers or whatever,
Right.
and they decide to get out of that business and just, keep the building for, let's say, rental. There's an adjustment made,
There's an adjustment. We look at the use, what the building is actually being used for. Okay?
but again, it is the property owner's responsibility to follow up.
It is. And I will say, if there's something that's in bad shape, we do use depreciation tables to take the costs down. And we also, depending on what the use is, we'll put obsolescence, which is a factor that will knock down the value for the use of it.
And there's like developer discounts, for developers that are going to put in, big subdivisions, that kind of thing. I mean, there's different, what I wanna say, I don't wanna say categories, but there's just different things that we can do
Right.
to grades and, that kind of thing that can.
Yeah, and
be
we
done,
get
so.
your updates in the mail of all the structures
The
and
Form
things.
11.
But then again, if someone's not happy with what they're being taxed, then they have to go through the appeal process.
They
It's
come
not
with their
taxed,
yeah.
it's the assessed
Assessment,
value. We have
the
nothing to do
assessed
with tax.
value that
Yeah.
reflects that, eventually, it's the tax on the assessed value.
Right,
Yeah.
but we just feel, a lot of people think that we have, we know about the tax rates and stuff. It's like we only deal with assessed values.
Right, I get it, I get it. So there's a process.
Right.
There is, they come
There is a
in,
process.
yeah, they come
yes.
in and basically then they will come in
Okay.
and they have what's called informal hearings. Once those go out and Mary and her staff and we assist as needed, talk to them and if they're not happy, then we make adjustments if
Right.
we're able to.
Right, well, the
And-
only reason I'm,
Right.
the only reason I'm going through all of this is because there's so many people that don't quite understand.
It's a difficult process.
Yeah.
It really truly is, yes.
I mean, you know, like if somebody would come in and appeal, like if Steve comes in and appeals, you know, he buys a house, let's say for $300,000 and we only have him assessed at 250,000 and he comes in and he wants to appeal because he assesses assessments too high, we're gonna look at him and we're gonna say, well, Steve, you paid $300,000 for your house, so why do you think 250 is too high? You know what I'm saying? So
Well-
there's.
Well,
so
the other,
cost and all of that
the other
kind
side of that
stuff, you know what I
equation
mean?
is someone built a house for 350,000 10 years ago. It's worth 850 today,
Right. Depending on the.
depending on the upkeep and all that.
Correct,
the-
yes.
the-
Yeah, there are market factors
Yeah.
and things that happen.
So
As we all know, when
you
COVID
can't keep
hit,
up with it.
yeah, when
Right, also-
COVID hit, everything
Right.
went skyrocketed, the market went crazy. And what happens is houses were selling for way more than
Oh,
they
yeah.
were technically worth.
They weren't even on the market for an hour and boom, they were gone.
Right.
Good,
Yeah.
good discussion. Let's
And
get
the land
back, let's
values
get
are
back to the
just-
contract. okay?
Yeah, land values are set by the state.
But it's important that the
It's all good,
constituents
yeah.
understand this.
It is, but we're in the middle of a contract.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah,
Let's reel it back in here.
yeah,
Okay, do you have a recommendation for us, Mary, on the contract?
I just recommend, Vision.
What is the amount?
Typically, we would take these under consideration, but since you only have one responsive bidder, I don't know that we need to do that.
If they just only have one responsive bidder, you just have to put that in the
And
minutes.
your recommendation is that we accept the proposal from Vision. And what I'm looking at, correct me if I'm wrong, the cycle reassessment, the proposal is for $208,750.
Right.
And that's not per year, is
It's-
that's for the
that's-
cycle.
That's for the cycle.
Okay,
Yes.
very good.
That's for 4 years, yes.
Very good, very good. I have copies here if you guys want to look at. Actually, they submitted 3 copies. I have no idea exactly what was supposed to be in here, but I see a certificate of insurance and some other documentation in here. Looks to me like it probably meets the specifications.
Right.
So I just want to make sure we understand. In other words, this is not up for renewal for 4 years.
Right.
Correct.
Right. This
It's
would be
a 4-year
4-year
contract and whatever is signed today, or if it is signed today, those prices are firm. There'll be no adjustments.
No adjustments.
Okay.
Okay, that's stated in there, I assume, yeah.
So we have a recommendation from Mary to accept and sign this contract today. Any further discussion, guys? If not, I'd be looking for a motion.
Well, I move we accept the proposal by, what's the company's name?
Vision.
Vision.
I'll second that.
Okay, that motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have-
Appreciate your partnership and your longevity, and it's not very often you
Yeah.
have a 20-year relationship with somebody, so.
We've been through Judy Affolter, who was here before, Don Kuhn. So we've been around for a long time, so we know the players. And we have local people that are doing the work, so they're familiar with your county. and your-
Absolutely.
I appreciate the,
Yeah, yeah.
appreciate you coming
Thank
in.
you.
Yeah, Tim's caught on quick.
Yes, Tim's sharp. He's our Jeff in training.
Is that
Yeah.
number
Jeff in
208,
training, okay.
750? Is that right, Steve? 208-750, right?
And Jeff is
That's
on our
correct.
PETA board.
208,
Oh, is it?
That's still
Yeah.
around. He's on our PETA board.
Okay.
Jeff is world-
So do we need to sign
You do.
3 copies of these?
Yes, both of those, for each person, you each have a copy. There's one that is the original.
I see it's marked original,
That
so
goes
is that
back
the
to
one
the
you want
state.
back?
Yes, and then
I'll need it back.
Mary
Okay.
will need a copy for her records, and then I take a copy and mail it to our corporate.
It's
and
like
then
Mary
it's
signs
signed.
here.
Speaking of your corporate, where's it located?
Our corporate is our large corporate. Vision is a big company, Boston,
Boston, and where's your office?
Finley, Ohio. But I
Finley,
have an
Ohio.
office here in Indiana too as well, yeah.
Okay,
So we've been here for since 1978.
Good.
Send a couple more copies your way here.
Yeah, the name has changed, but it's still the same company, so yeah. There's two places you need to sign.
Oh, two places, okay.
Yes, in the back, there is something that's called a 10% retainage, and what that is in the very
Right.
back, that is guaranteed that when we invoice every month, Mary only gets, she gets the amount less 10%. That's held back, kind of a safety guide.
Come up
for
and
you
show us
guys.
where we sign the second.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of a safety guide, so if you're not happy with the quality of work, she doesn't have to.
Stan's
do
got
that.
to sign first. Just show us where the second signage is.
You gotta run up for it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, there's two of them. And the other one, there's that one. That's the one for the, that's the actual contract. And there's another spot in here that is for, right there. They're pretty close together. Non-pollution, have a date, that's the one for the 10% retainage.
So.
Does your firm take into account when you do your assessments,
Done with this one.
things that are eligible for tax credits like solar installation?
Oh, yes. We do. A
A
lot of those
How
are,
do you do that?
those are mandated, some of those are state guidelines. You have to follow those.
So, for example, if I put a solar installation out there on when you did your assessment, if I notify you that I had something else called a tax credit.
Yes, between 19 and 20. It's closer to 20, but it's,
Yeah, actually.
I don't know, say approximately 20,000.
They did away with that deduction.
Yeah.
Stan, there is no more solar deduction. They did away with it with Senate Bill 1.
What's that?
Geothermal, they're all gone.
They're all gone.
Okay.
They did away with them.
So had we had people that applied for solar tax credits?
We have to turn them away now.
Yeah, that's disappearing with Trump administration. That says that.
Appears to be.
Several of them.
I think she's got it marked. Is that what's marked right there? Oh, sorry. I thought that's what that was for.
You guys currently do not have any windmills here in Adams City at this point
No.
yet.
No,
They're going up there. I live in Blackford County. They're coming to Blackford.
windmills aren't.
Yeah.
I just saw a
They
recent,
call it
I just
blue,
saw a
yeah.
recent photo out of New York State where they're dismantling the.
Are they really?
I think that was your previous name or vision.
Appraisal Research Corporation.
Boy, it's not Appraisal Research Corporation.
You can just say ARC. That's fine too. Peter. Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sure. Okay, very good. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate it.
We got,
Well,
Stan's
thank
gotta
you.
get this one, yeah.
Like I said, thanks for your service.
Welcome.
Yeah, they're
Thank you for
great to
having
work
us.
with. They're great
Thank
to
you for
work
having
with.
us.
It's very nice when you don't have a competitor bidding on you.
It is, yes.
I
feel very
honestly don't
fortunate.
think any of the competitors, because it's in there, they need to be within a 40-mile radius. I don't think any of them
Yeah,
would have
okay.
been.
I write the bid specs and we kind of go by that. So we do try to cater to our company a little bit.
Yeah.
But they had, chances to bid. They just didn't
Yeah.
come in. So
Yeah.
what it's worth.
Where does, the gentleman reside that without?
He lives here in Decatur.
He lives in
Great.
yeah.
What's his name again?
Tim.
Tim.
Keith. It's Jeff's son.
Oh, it's your son.
Yes.
Oh, now it's adding up.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, we snagged onto him. So yeah.
Okay,
He's a
yeah.
nice kid.
And it's been
Nice
great.
guy.
Tell your dad I said hello. Tell your dad I said hello.
Doug Ballman.
It's been great too because sometimes if Tim has questions, he
Yeah.
picks up the phone and calls
Yeah.
dad. So that works out great.
Thank you. Jeff is a smart guy. Like I said, he's on the PETA board, so.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of commercial knowledge, that's for sure.
So Jeff retired.
Mary, after we're signed here, do you have anything else for us? Okay, get the last signatures here and
Came for assessment.
Good luck on your phone.
get Nathan up
Your
here.
heel
Screens
too.
out.
No,
Setting
it's on
the
my
washing
ankle, my
screens
inside.
in
They think I have a stress fracture.
You gotta stay off of it.
I'm going to Cancun in 2 weeks.
He'll stay off of it.
So that way he could get. a
Oh,
good
Mary's gonna be in the water.
That's great, that's great.
Reduce the quantity of them.
So there's that.
I've heard he's.
So you happy to be back, are you?
Yeah, getting there. It's an adjustment.
Thank you.
Learning curve,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're welcome. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mary. Nathan, come on out.
What did you mean when
Nathan, you're up, buddy.
Well, you were, now your time's gone.
Just wanted to come to you guys and let you know about, sewer project number 6 did get funded through SRF. We were fortunate enough to get the max amount of the $5 million in grant. Projected, which is crazy to me that we got that, but hey, I'll take it. Project estimate was right at 6.1 million. So SRF kind of put some fluff on there that we could get up to a loan up to like 6.8 million or $1.8 million loan if needed. Right now, projected bids are closing or submitted October 2nd for, I want to say that's the Monmouth project. And in that project, we are upsizing that existing 4-inch line to a 6-inch back to the treatment plant. There's roughly 10 homes being hooked up in that project, and then reconnections on existing from project 1. On the 3rd, we're looking at the 100 and 200 east that then will run down 400 north along 33. And then
Will that cross the bypass?
no, we have it, so to cross over on 200, like how we talked going out to the transfer station and stuff, we put that in as an alternate bid inside the bid. It can be part of the project, but we haven't fully given them the, yes, we're going there, but they are going to bid it as an alternate.
How would that decision be made?
You guys need to let us know what kind of
So
future
that
plans.
that decision may hinge on what we decide to do with Golden Meadows.
Yes, I mean, right now with the cost going across 33 is up there, and the amount of homes that we have over there is
Couple.
is few. I mean, we do have our state code that says if the structure is over 300 feet from our line, they would be possibly exempt from hooking in. So right now, homes that would be required out there, I think it's with Golden Meadows 3.
Yeah.
So does it make sense to spend the amount of money that it's gonna cost to get over there to hook up 3 homes?
Yeah.
We don't really foresee an extension. The health department hasn't given us a direction of an extension to even go down further south there. I know there is a pretty decent sized group of homes down there, but they're all fairly newer homes with septic systems, absorption fields on the property. So that we just put it as an alternate, as an option instead of just saying yes
So
or
there's
no.
no urgent problems that have to be addressed
No.
south of the bypass.
There's not. I mean, it was kind of one of those things that when I spoke with you guys about future goals with Golden Meadows was a discussion that I thought it's better to have it and not need it than
I
need
think
it
that's
and not
great.
have it.
We need to figure out what
Yeah.
our game plan is.
Yeah,
with
but
Golden
down
Meadows.
the road somewhere, if there were ever a housing development that resulted out in that area,
They could run it.
you could jump it
You're
over.
close.
They could get the permits and do it all. I mean, that would just be an extension to the line that somebody wanted to put a housing development in. I mean, we have that, say, down on 700 South, down in Burn. They're putting in 14 home housing
Right.
addition down there.
Right.
They're paying for it out of their
Right next
pocket.
door.
And, yep.
There's,
yeah.
there's probably 2 ways to look at that line. One is what's there already and what kind of development a line down there would encourage.
And that's that double-edged sword that we have to look at because our funding is through septic elimination, not future.
Future.
So we have to tread lightly there when it comes
Yeah.
to, I mean, we've been very fortunate to get the amount of money through SRF for the last 9 to 10 years. I mean, roughly we're sitting at like $47 million of pipe in the ground that we have right now. I don't want to jeopardize because we do have another 7 areas that the health department has given us for projected areas in the future. So we do have to rein back and think about, okay, this is for septic elimination. This is to clean up our, I mean, as they were talking earlier, Lake Erie watershed. I mean, that sign up there means a lot for the county for what we've done. So.
No, that doesn't mean, even though you're giving us a report
Yeah.
on a grant just received and projected use of it, it doesn't mean that you sit back and say, well, this is it. You're already looking at the next
Yeah.
3-4 years down the road.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll be honest, I never thought we would get the money that we got. I mean, we were rejected last year. We had to do some different planning and projecting, and we were very fortunate. I know that what we've done, we are one of the fastest growing sewer districts in the state, and that's something
Probably
that
the
we
reason
pride
you got it,
ourselves on, so.
So how, with this grant, getting back to how many projects, you've got the Monmouth project, you've got,
It'd be the
Yeah,
100 to
220
200
thing.
east on 400, and then project C is gonna be the Winnikin project.
okay,
That is going from Sunnybrook on 200 west, all the way down to County Line to Williams. And then down County Line, all the way out to Winnikin. In Winnikin, we
so
will
those
be,
are the three,
those are the three that we got funding for.
and those are all, the engineering is done on those.
Yes, so with leftover money from Project 5 that we had, we were able to use some of that leftover money to pre-engineer and get it shovel ready. This has gone super quick. I mean, once we were awarded the money, we had bids out 2 weeks ago. Bid packets were sent out 2 weeks ago, and we have 7 contractors that purchased bid packets to bid this project, which, I mean, for 4 weeks to get 3 projects bid out is a very fast timeline. And we haven't had to do that in the past. So I was a little nervous about how many contractors were gonna get bid packets and hopefully get bids in. Now, 7 of them got them. That doesn't mean 7 of them are gonna place bids, but that's to look at the projects. But we are looking at some major timelines here. I just got a report today. We are also amending our rates right now too. So we have a lot going on. That first, we have our board meeting October 9th. That'll be the first reading of our ordinance and amending the rate ordinance. And then we'll have to put it in the public publication in the newspaper 3 times. And then we'll have our public hearing then too, to the general public on both the project and the rate increase.
And if I'm not mistaken, that's the first rate increase
That is the
you've
first one.
anticipated
Yes.
since the beginning of the district.
Yes.
So,
And that has
7
to do
years.
with a bunch of different factors. One was, I mean, the increase of costs and parts and equipment that we have to maintain all this stuff. That
treatment costs are going up.
treatment costs just went up. Decatur just raised our rates, start of January, it'll go up another 14%, which is additional 24% from a year ago today, I mean, more or less. So 24% increase in rates, hit us pretty good on that.
Have you, responded to them about that rate increase?
I mean, yes, but like anything that we're
Maybe
doing,
that's a loaded question.
that is a very loaded question. I've
Sorry about that.
Meeting, man.
I understand everything's gone up. I mean, you guys see it and everything. I mean, go in the grocery store, see what things go up. I mean, our pumps went from about $1,400 a pump to $4,200 a pump. I am kind of transitioning. Project 1 is different from projects 2 through 5 on our parts and stuff. I'm starting to make that transition to making everything one. I mean, I'm trying to manage the monies that we have our customers paying to maintain this stuff. And that's only gonna get worse when it comes to maintenance. I mean, we're 9 years into this and we're starting to see a little bit of pumps and equipment and stuff going out.
Natural failure.
Yes, I mean, it's mechanical. Everything mechanical in time is gonna go. And then you add the methane gases on top of that. I mean, things get ate up quick. Our maintenance program is top notch to my eyes. We do a lot of preliminary maintenance, making sure that things are working properly and we can get the long-term out of each thing. Noah and I, we spend a lot of time out checking things, making sure things are working right. So when they do go bad, it's not in the middle of winter and we're out there standing in the cold or the rain. working on stuff.
Now, your rate increase applies whether it's the north end of the county or south end, it's across the board.
It's right now, close to 1,100 customers, it'll be everyone flat rate.
Okay.
So, and we did get a rate study done with Baker Tilly. They did the rate study. They recommended the rates of what they needed to be. The board will decide on what those rates will be according to the study that was done. And Baker Tilly said that they would be willing to be present at our public hearing to explain how those rates were coming.
Good, good deal.
Cause I know we've gotta be pretty, careful with that. I mean, that was always one of the objections with, you know, being hooked up to the line was, well, these rates are gonna keep going up and up.
I'd love to have one out in my place.
Yeah.
So,
I think, unfortunately, I think that's where we've ended up at, is that more people would rather have us than.
You only hear about people that don't want it, are boisterous about it, but you'd be amazed on how many people come into our office and want it. And also not just want it, but hey, I'm gonna build a house. I'm gonna build it by a sewer line because I'd rather have the sewer than the septic
Sure.
system.
Yeah.
So
Now,
I mean,
if you ever ended up with a project in the Geneva area.
Yeah.
Would you would you look at contracting with Geneva to handle that, or how?
I know that before my time, there has been discussion there. I guess I'm not aware of the situation of their treatment facility, what the capacity levels are there. That would definitely be a discussion on, I mean, how much capacity they could handle in.
Could I
I'm
make a
sure it's not out
suggestion,
of-
Nate, in your spare time, which you don't have much of? In your spare time, maybe you could wanna research that and
Yeah.
get some of those kind of questions answered in the event that you ever would start that.
Yeah,
process.
I know it's definitely been a discussion prior to me being in the position that I am. I do know that was one of the factors was their treatment facility. That's an older system, so what kind of updates
Well,
does
it'd be
that
good to
need?
know whether it's even feasible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, something that we discussed. I mean, I would love to start heading down south. We do have a couple areas down there that are projected that the health department did give us. But with other unforeseen circumstances that we
Sure.
have in place, we have to just tread lightly
Yeah,
there.
I get it.
And you've got a good board there that I think
Yeah.
researches all that stuff. So I appreciate you and appreciate your board. Anything else for Nate? We need to move on, guys.
No, I'm good.
Okay, thanks, Nate.
Thank you,
Appreciate the update. Mark, come on up.
Just one subdivision. Very simple. We had a County Road 200 south and 500 east, and they're just taking this square lot, a 40-acre piece, taking out these two hog buildings, which is a 3-acre parcel.
It's out by Salem, right? Close Salem.
So, yep.
37 and 3.
Okay.
Been grass for a while, they just went around that square.
Good deal.
motion to approve.
Okay, Stan.
Second.
Okay, motion passes.
Almost done.
What's the objective of this? What's his objective?
No idea. They just bring us the print, I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe they wanna sell the hog building to somebody else and keep the farmland, that'd be my guess.
Could be.
Anything else for us, Mark?
All I got.
Okay, thank you. Either we're down to county attorney, which we have none present today, so that's an easy one. You have anything from the attorney?
The only thing was that
Think about it.
resolution
Okay.
that,
That's taken care of.
I can't think of anything else that they.
We did action that resolution. right?
Yep.
We're done with that?
Yep.
Okay. Shannon, what have you got for us this morning? Nothing from Shannon, nothing from attorneys. Gosh, we may be close to being over, guys. Anything, you guys say anything for the good of the cause?
Doug tried to hide.
Anything from the public?
Yeah, I just wanted to, update, or do an updated report on the judicial center.
Please do.
project. With the meeting that we've had with the committee 2 weeks ago, it was not unanimous, but there was, somewhat of a consensus of thought that we need to refocus our project for the judicial center offices and from the previous recommendation to focus on using this annex as the project to house the court, the peripheral offices, probation, community correction, prosecutor, public defender, and explore using this building to house those offices.
I know
So-
that was one of your original kind of thoughts.
Correct.
And the committee's kind of circled back to that now as the recommendation.
Right, and we're looking at it for multiple reasons. One is because we were unable to come to in control of the property it took for the first recommendation. But, you know, there's multiple advantages to using this building. We have a lot of existing infrastructure that would not need to be duplicated with the new generator, the power room, the new IT space, the new roof, the new elevator, the new chillers. I could go on and on with the updates that this building has had. And it also, as it offers multiple advantages, one, it would be much less costly than the previous recommendation. It also brings with it some additional challenges and issues. So as we move forward, I think the committee generally felt like that this was a good secondary recommendation to the commissioners. So I guess that would be an unofficial recommendation, but.
Okay, that's the committee's recommendation is that we, as commissioners, begin to look that direction for a
Like I
location.
say, focusing on this building also comes with some issues and challenges of its own that the other did not, but we felt like this was still a good recommendation.
And even though we don't have a cost estimate, we believe that would be significantly less than what we would have invested going with the new building over across.
And I've had informal discussions with the architect to kind of, that we were moving this direction.
Good.
And just want to make sure it's clarified very clearly that the committee was a resource in helping the commissioners decide on location. It's the commissioner's responsibility to identify a location and to explain and tell the council what our needs are. And then it's up to council to figure out a way to pay for the project. So I don't know when or how you want to make this official, but it sounds like it's pretty official to me.
I guess if you want it in terms of a motion, I, as a commissioner, in addition to sitting on the committee, I, as a commissioner, would make a motion that we focus our efforts on any new judicial center offices on the annex building,
In this building.
on using the space in the
Okay.
annex building.
I would second Stan's motion
Good.
because I agree with what's been done.
Well, that motion passes. So we'll reorient our work on, with the architects on trying to figure out how to fit the necessary space
Needs.
into this building and make that investment.
Hey Stan, does that mean circuit court also will be in here or will stay in the courthouse? That was the idea
we
before to
would-
keep it
we
up,
would,
you know, where it is.
the intent and the discussion right now would focus on circuit court remaining in its current courtroom. And as the discussions to this point, the clerk would stay there and take over the first floor with prosecutor and public defender coming to this building.
And just to help with rumors that might be going around about who's leaving and who's staying in this building, you know, our job is to, as Steve alluded to a little bit earlier, our job at this point in time would be to let Elevatus know what space is available currently and what space could be available. So we're, other than other than Wick leaving January 1st, you know, no one's being asked to find a location.
I'm not gonna put that in.
Okay, I just wanna make sure, because.
So at this point, we're just kind of changing direction as far as what we're looking at. And commissioners will begin to work with our consultants to try and figure out where we go from here. So no decisions beyond that at this point.
I'm not sure that it will include a press room though, so.
Oh, my God.
Thanks.
Okay,
Anything else? Anything else from the public? Anything else from commissioners?
I wanted to make a comment that I was really impressed with the whole clinic banquet last night here in Decatur. Over 180 people present.
Wow.
Tonight they go to Bern and they've got over 200 registered at the Mennonite Church. I walked out of there last night saying, in all my writing, this has been one of the most exciting events I ever covered. And I am thankful to see we have a commissioner to get involved in something like this. I saw Stan's name, I thought, this is really a reach to our county.
Good.
This doesn't really pertain to us, but yes, it does.
Well, and you know, that, I think that just speaks to what our county
Yeah.
is about.
Um,
So we have to keep that in mind with
it was
everything we do here.
fantastic. I had goosebumps the whole time.
Good. Thanks, Stan. Thanks for your work
Yeah.
with that group.
Well, and I bet if anybody else wants to show up at Mennonite Church tonight at 7, I bet they'd find you a chair and a plate of food.
Yeah,
Good deal.
it was just, to me, worth having, you know, with the ministerial blood in my heart, having been a pastor my whole life, but, it was just a great event. If the guy that covered it writes the story like he should, it's gonna be all right.
Just part of what makes Adams County a great place to live and raise family.
I'm gonna work on that all afternoon. to try to
Good
get it
deal.
right.
Very good.
I move we adjourn.
Okay, we're adjourned.